Hello and welcome back to Sentinels of the Multiverse Rook City. And this is going to be turn number 2, and we're going to start with round 2. And we're going to start with the chairman. So, without any further ado, it's the chairman's turn. Okay, at the start of the chairman's turn, we're just going to check his card here. And it just says, at the start of the villain turn, if there are at least 3 underbosses of the villain trash, flip the chairman's villain character card. Well, there are 0 underbosses there, so we don't have to worry about that. The operative doesn't have any start of turn effects, but we do have some of these underlings here that do have effects. So this underboss says, at the start of the villain turn, this card deals each hero target 2 melee damage. That's really bad for us, because each of our hero targets each have a +2 damage against us. Number 1 from this the contract here that increases damage dealt to heroes, but also by the blighted streets over here. So the muscle is going to do 2 damage to each hero. So we're going to start by doing 2 damage to the Wraith, and she is actually going to absorb the first 2 damage with her 2 damage -1 she used last turn. But she's going to take 2 more because of these +2 right here. Next, Expatriate is going to take 4 total damage. And then last, Mr. Fix over here is going to take 4 total damage. So that brings us down to the Wraith has 21 hit points, Expatriate has 20 hit points, and Mr. Fixer has 21 hit points. Next, we'll look at the contract. He doesn't have any start of turn effects. The Enforcers don't have any start of turn effects, and the Hired Gun doesn't have any start of turn effects. So we're done with villain start of turn. Let's go ahead and do the play phase and play a card. And we found the Fence, who is another underboss. He has 6 hit points. And whenever a hero card is destroyed, both the chairman and the operative regain 3 HP. At the end of the villain turn, search the villain trash for a card named Thief and put it into play. Well, this is going to be great. Move that over a little bit. Okay, so that was the play phase. Now we're going to go straight to the end of turn effects. So the chairman doesn't have any end of turn effects, but the operative does. So let's look at the operative here. At the end of the villain turn, reveal cards from the top of the villain deck until an underboss card is revealed. Put it into play. Shuffle the rest of the revealed cards back into the villain deck. Whew. That is tough. So let's reveal cards till we find an underboss. Okay, we found an underboss. The Broker. So we'll put her into play over here. And we'll shuffle this card back into the deck. And that's it for the operative's end of turn effect. Let's look at the muscle. At the end of the villain turn, search the villain trash for a card named Enforcers and put it into play. This is going to start to get really overwhelming here. So let's find Enforcers. There's another one. We have one of these guys out already, so let's go ahead and add another Enforcers. Okay, next up is the contract. And he says, at the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 2 projectile damage. So it looks like the highest is Wraith with 21, and also actually tied with Mr. Fixer with 21 as well. So Phoenix, who do you think we should give that damage to, the Wraith or Mr. Fixer?
I think we should probably give that to the Wraith.
Okay, so she's going to take 2 from the contract and then 2 from the damage tube. So she's going to take 4 total damage. And then, this guy is not done. At the end of the villain turn, search the villain trash for a card named Hired Gun and put it into play. Let's see if we have another Hired Gun in here. We do. We've seen the Hired Gun before, but there he is. We'll put him out here. Alright, next up is the Enforcers. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the lowest HP, H, which is 3 in our case. So 3 melee damage unless their player discards a card. Who's got the lowest HP right now? Looks like the Wraith. So does the Wraith want to take 5 total damage, or does she want to discard a card?
So we have Combat Stance, Razor Ordnance, and Mega Computer. I was really liking to play these 2 cards. This one will come in handy, but there are many copies of it, and it seems to be the less useful out of these 3 cards. So we're going to discard the Mega Computer so we don't take up a whole bunch of damage.
Okay. Alright, so that's the Enforcers. Next up, Hired Gun. Let's look at these guys. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals each hero target 2 projectile damage, and there's not much getting around that. So, looks like the Wraith will take 2 plus 2 more damage, so 4 more damage. Expatriate will take 4 more damage. And Mr. Fixer is going to take 4 more damage. Alrighty. This could be a short game. Next up, we have the Fence. At the end of villain turn, search the villain trash for a card named Thief and put it into play. So now we're going to go find the Thief. There's not much of a villain trash left here. So we haven't seen this guy yet. Let's see what he does. 2 damage. At the end of villain turn, destroy a hero, ongoing, or equipment card. So we'll put him over here at the end. And the Fence is done, so let's look at the Broker now. At the end of the villain turn, search the villain trash for a card named Informant, put it into play. Alright, Crooked Cop, Informant. Only has 2 hit points, Thug. When a hero card is played, play the top card of the villain deck. Lovely. Okay, so let's get back to our Enforcers. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the lowest HP. 3 melee damage unless their player discards a card. So it looks like the lowest is still the Wraith. Phoenix, do you want to discard a card or take 5 damage?
At this point, we don't really have all that much life to spare. So we're going to discard another card here. And I think that the best play would be to get rid of Combat Stance, because we're going to use the Razor Ordnance next turn to take out that Thief, because we don't like it when people play villain cards, because we already have a whole bunch of out. So we're going to get rid of Combat Stance and have our 1 card in our hand remaining.
Okay, next up is our second Hired Gun. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals each hero target 2 projectile damage. Not much we can do there again, so the Wraith is going to take 4 damage. Expatriate's going to take 4 damage, and Mr. Fixer is going to take 4 damage. Okay, next up is the Thief. At the end of the villain turn, destroy a hero, ongoing, or equipment card. So, we're going to have to figure out what we want to do. So, okay, so we're going to look at the Informant again. When a hero... Oh, that's not the Informant. It's the Thief. We're going to look at the Thief one more time. At the end of the villain turn, destroy a hero, ongoing, or equipment card. We are actually going to destroy Mr. Fixer's Driving Mantis card. The reason being, it just says the first time each turn the Mr. Fixer would be dealt 2 or less damage, you may redirect that. We've been getting hit for 4 damage every time, and so it's not as useful right now. So we're going to discard this. And I believe that is finally the end of the villain turn. So, now that we have a whole street full of thugs, let's get on to the rate.
Okay, we're back with the Wraith and her one card, Razor Ordnance. And so we're going to play that one card during our play phase. So now we have Razor Ordnance, Throwing Knives, Utility Belt, and Stealth, our innate power. For her power phase, we are going to use her Throwing Knives to deal 1 damage to 3 targets. So with our power, we're going to use Throwing Knives to deal 3 targets, 1 damage each. And so with that, we are going to attack the contract right here.
Okay, so the contract hit for 1.
Yeah, he's been really annoying. And then we're also going to hit the fence for 1.
Okay, the fence is down to 5 hit points now.
Yep. And we're going to hit the broker.
And the broker goes from 5 down to 4 hit points.
Yeah. So then we're going to use our second power from our utility belt to use the Razor Ordnance, which lets us deal 1 target, 3 damage. So kind of the opposite of Throwing Knives, which is kind of funny. But we're going to shoot the contract for 3, which kills off the contract. And when we kill off any cards, let's take a look at the operative for a second. It says, whenever a villain card is destroyed, the operative deals a hero target with the highest HP 3 minus 2 melee damage. So she's going to deal the Wraith 1.
So the highest is actually Mr. Fixer right now with 13 hit points.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to take 1 plus 2 for these.
Well,
2.
1 plus 1 because the contract is
That's true.
gone.
The contract is now gone, so we're going to take off 3 of these damage plus 1 tokens. So it's really only going to do 2 damage to Mr. Fixer.
And that's the end of the Wraith's turn. Oh wait, I forgot we're going to draw a card, which is going to be the micro-targeting computer. Yay! Now, when we play the Razor Ordnance, we must not forget that the informant says when a hero card is played, play the top card of the villain deck. So we're going to play that.
Here's the top card of the villain deck. Prison Break. Put all of the underboss cards from the villain trash into play. So when Phoenix had actually played Razor Ordnance, it was before Phoenix had done any damage. And so at that point, sorry, we have to go back in time a little bit. There were no underbosses in the trash. So we play the Prison Break. There's no underbosses in the trash, so thug, 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 thug. And then Phoenix did all of his damage, or the Wraith did all of her damage. Tick out the contract, so this card doesn't actually do anything.
Really good for us.
Yeah, we got lucky on the timing there. Okay, here we are back with Expatriate's turn. Here's her hand. She's got the hair trigger reflexes. And I've been kind of trying to figure out which card Expatriate wants to play. I think I'm going to go with the RPG launcher. So, it's a one-shot. We're going to play this one. Destroy 1 ongoing or environment card. Well, lucky for us, we have this Blighted Streets environment card here. And when this card is destroyed, play the top card of the villain deck. So let's not forget to do that. But we're going to get rid of the increased damage dealt to hero targets by 1. So we're going to get rid of these. So that hopefully we don't die on this next turn. We get rid of the Blighted Streets. But we are going to play the top card of the villain deck. And that is Perfect Human Specimens. The chairman regains H plus 1 HP. That doesn't really matter because he's still at full health. If the operative is active, she regains H plus 1 HP. That doesn't really matter because she hasn't been damaged yet either. So another good one for us to get rid of because they haven't actually done any damage to us. So that's the card she's going to play is RPG Launcher. So put that in Expatriate's trash down there. Okay. Oh, we forgot to read the rest of RPG Launcher. If you do destroy an ongoing or environment card, Expatriate deals up to 2 targets 2 fire damage each. And I believe the 2 targets that I want to take out are... Alright, before I figure out who Expatriate is going to take out with the RPG launcher. We can't forget the informant, which is when a hero card is played, play the top card of the villain deck. So we're actually playing. We played it for the Blighted Streets. When this card is destroyed, play the top card of the villain deck. But we're going to play another one because we like playing, and we get another perfect human specimen. Chairman regains HP. If the operative is active, she regains HP. Awesome. Let's get rid of these cards. They haven't lost any health anyway. Okay, back to figuring out who we want to hit with the RPG launcher. Okay, after looking at all of these guys' hit points, I think what Expatriate is going to do is do 2 damage to the muscle. That'll take him down to 2. We're going to do 2 damage to the broker. So the muscle and then the broker. And then we're going to do 2 damage to the informant. And this make... Oh yeah, this is the RPG launcher. I'm only doing 2 targets, 2 fire damage each. So yes, we just did the muscle and the broker. So next, Expatriate is going to use her power, and the power she's going to use is the assault rifle. Expatriate deals up to 3 targets, 2 projectile damage each. So she's going to do 3 targets. So she's going to start with the muscle. And that should bring the muscle down to 0. So we're going to take this guy out. And when that happens, the operative goes. Whenever a villain card is destroyed, the operative deals the hero with the highest HP 3 minus 2 melee damage. So looks like our highest right now is Expatriate, and she will be dealt 1 damage. Okay. Next, Expatriate is going to take a shot at the broker, because the broker only has 2 hit points left, so we're going to take out the broker. And again, the operative is going to do 1 damage to the highest, which is Expatriate, so we'll let Expatriate take the damage. Or Mr. Fixer is also tied. We'll let Expatriate take the damage. Okay? And then last, with her assault rifle, for her 3rd target, she's going to take out this informant. And we're going to take that out also. So we got rid of some of our bad guys here. And then once again, the operative is going to do 1 damage, and our highest right now is Mr. Fixer. So he goes down from 11 down to 10 hit points. So our heroes are in a rough spot. So that was her play and power phase. So now she's going to draw a card. The card she draws is Reload. Take an ammo card from your trash, put it into play or into your hand. So we'll just hold on to this for next time. And that is it for Expatriate. Next up is Mr. Fixer.
Okay, for Mr. Fixer's turn, right here we have all of his cards, and I think this time we're going to play the Tyrant. It says all damage dealt by Mr. Fixer is projectile damage. After Mr. Fixer deals damage to a target, if that target has 2 or fewer, destroy it. When this card enters play, return any other tool cards in play to your hand. He threw a what at you? Yeah, pretty cool card. So we're going to put the Tyrant Iron into play, and we're going to use Mr. Fixer's strike ability to deal 1 target 1 melee damage, which is turned into projectile damage because of the Tyrant Iron. We're going to hit the hired gun for 1, and then because of the Tyrant Iron, it is going to die because it has 2 or fewer.
Alright, which hired gun are you taking out?
We're going to shoot the one that is first.
Okay, they both have 3, so take 1 on the hired gun.
And then the Tyrant Iron.
He now has 2 hit points. And go ahead and put it in the trash. And then the operative, whenever a villain card is destroyed, the operative deals the hero with the highest HP 1 melee damage. And the highest is going to be tied with Mr. Fixer and Expatriate. Who do you think, Phoenix?
I think we're going to have Mr. Fixer take that.
Okay, so Mr. Fixer is now down to 9. The Wraith is down to 9. Expatriate is down to 10.
If we had this, I could have just redirected all that 1 damage.
I know.
Grr. And last of all, Mr. Fixer's turn, we're going to draw a card. It is the Host Chain, and it says, whenever Mr. Fixer deals damage to a target, reduce all damage dealt by that target by 1 till the start of your next turn. When this card enters play, return any other tool cards in play to your hand. It's a good old chain, held up many block in its day. So that's the end of Mr. Fixer's turn.
Okay, last up is our environment turn. We don't have any cards in play, so there are no start of turn effects. So we'll just play a card. And what do we get? We get Dr. Tremata. She has 6 hit points. Forensic Scientist. This card is immune to damage from heroes. At the end of the environment turn, reveal the top 2 cards of the environment deck. Put one on top of the environment deck and one on the bottom. Then the villain character card either deals this card or the hero with the lowest HP H melee damage. So Dr. Tremata here actually helps us. So that's kind of cool. Which is good because the chairman and the operative have been kicking our collective butts. Okay, that's it for round 2.